It's the only person below White Holiday in the ComicsGate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by our special guest, Mark Middleton. How's it going?
Not too bad. How's it going, man?
Oh my gosh. For those of you who don't know, the reason why I'm cracking that up is because when I was jumping between windows and stuff, I mistakenly closed out on my StreamYards. You probably noticed I dropped out momentarily. But yeah, I'm back. So welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
Fantastic. Geez, I could be wrong, but this is your first time on here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my first time on.
Yeah. About time. Good to have you, though.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
So, welcome, Yotam Darkstar. Hi, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to have you. Definitely cool to have you finally. Advertise in the chat. So, it being your first time, would you care to... oh, shoot. Hold on. Just want to turn off unnecessary lights. Would you share with us how, what it was like in your early formative years, how you got interested in, or what you were interested in at the time, and how that led you down a road, be it formal education or not, or otherwise, what eventually led you to crowdfunding your own book?
Well, I first got into comics probably around 5 or 6. That was when the X-Men cartoon and the Spider-Man cartoon were on. And, I think that inspired a lot of kids, to pick up.
Was that the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends? Or
No. Amazing Spider-Man with, I don't remember the name of the guy who did the voice for Spider-Man then. But, yeah, it was right around the same time. I think that they did a Hulk show. They did an Iron Man show shortly thereafter. There was a bunch of they were trying to throw stuff at the wall and see it stuck, but the big ones that people remember, I think, are probably X-Men and Spider-Man.
Right.
And I just loved those stories, and because of that, I ended up going to comic book shops and picking up comic books. And it's kind of funny. The first comic book I ever bought was, I think, X-Men, and it was, I think, $1.25.
Oh yeah,
you go to buy an X-Men book now, it's like $4 or $5, but you could you can't hardly find a comic for $1.25 anymore.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's wild to me. What 5-year-old carries like $5-10 on them? It just doesn't make any sense why they would put them that expensive. But yeah, and that was something that was accessible to me as a kid. And, my dad always watched these Westerns, and I'd sit and watch them with him, and, my grandpa liked them too. And, growing up watching those, they have an impact on you, and you kind of get nostalgic when you get older. So I kind of, went back and I started watching these movies again. Clint Eastwood and the Dollars trilogy is a fantastic, set of movies. I mean, who doesn't love those? Pierce, I almost said Pierce. Charles Bronson.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pierce Bronson. But yeah, Charlie Bronson in the Once Upon a Time in the West is like the harmonica man. I that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Not just my favorite Western. I mean, that's just a really good movie. Mm-hmm. So it's shit like that really just kind of pushed me in the direction of the Western and the Western series and stuff like that. And one day I just started kind of writing, because I write as just like a pastime. It's just a hobby. I like to write, but
Cool.
I started hammering out the script and stuff like that, and gave the characters some names, and as I started giving them some backstories, pieces started to fall into place. And my second love, horror horror movies and stuff like that had a huge
Oh,
influence.
you're in
So
horror.
that's another thing my dad used to watch. My dad was pretty cool when it came to movies. I remember watching the Aliens movies.
Oh man,
We're
those are so
pretty
cool.
young. Yeah. And like, the violent films like Terminator and RoboCop, and I had like, I remember I think RoboCop 3 came out when I was 7, I think, maybe 6 or 7. And I remember having the toy for it. I almost I wanted to go and see it in the theaters, but my dad didn't take me. But it's just Mortal Kombat, that's another one. Mortal Kombat with the blood sheet. I remember making my dad put the blood sheet in on the Sega Genesis that we had.
Oh
Or
my,
maybe it was the Super Nintendo. One of them had the blood sheet and one of them didn't.
oh man, and he went and did it.
Yeah, he would go in and he would do it for me. He was really cool when it came to that shit. It was awesome. But yeah.
Wow.
Well, when my mom was around, he wouldn't do it, but
Oh,
but he would.
dad.
Yeah, no, I saw, I think, Pulp Fiction, I think, on VHS when it came out, like when I was like 8.
Whoa.
And these are
cool stuff.
these were movies I should not have been watching. I didn't understand what they were doing when they were like snorting the coke in Pulp Fiction. I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea what that was, but my dad was just watching it and I was right there next to him. So it's just all these movies that he would sit and watch, and I would sit and absorb it when I was next to him. And you just combine that into one thing, and that's basically how my taste turned out. And I've kind of made stuff out of that, I guess you could say. So
you're into writing and stuff like that. Did you get into drawing, or do you do all writing?
I love to draw. I really love to draw. I am not good at drawing.
Do you
I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I don't think that I put in enough time. It's actually funny. I tell this story a lot because it's hilarious. It kind of demonstrates the relationship that me and Passion for Drawing had when we started working on this book together. The original logo for Grave Robbers was not the skull that, that's not what you see there, on the screen. It was something that was drawn by me. I wish I could find it because it's not very good, but I drew it by hand. Being honest, I remember drawing it, and I remember looking at it and thinking, man, this is pretty good. I really like this. I'm going to show this to Passion next time I'm on, next time I'm talking to him. So I'm sitting there and I show it to him, and he's quiet for a good 4 or 5 seconds. And he just goes, let me find somebody for you that'll do the logo.
That was quite quick.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it's good that he was that direct with it, because the logo ended up turning out really well. And my logo, this girl Nicole Sapita Das Nomo is what she goes by on Twitter. She's the one that actually did the logo. Well, when I got the actual proofs back from her, what you see here with the skull logo and then the grave robbers and everything with the bullet holes, I sat and I looked at it for a solid 20 or 30 seconds, and I went, that is really, really cool. And then I got home and I looked down at my original drawing and I went, wow, why does it look so bad all of a sudden? Was it that bad? I guess it was. I just couldn't see it because it was mine, I think. Because I drew it. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see how bad it was.
Oh my gosh. So this person, what's her Twitter handle?
I think it's at Das Nomo _
DOS or AS?
DAS.
NOMO _?
Yeah, like gnome, like a gnome, but
a gnome. Oh,
yeah. Okay. GN. Yeah, real _ Das Nomo.
Wait, say again?
Real _ Das Nomo is her Twitter handle.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. She does a lot of work. She does a lot of what would you call it? She
Oh,
does a lot
wow.
of the
It's like manga, isn't it?
She's really good. She does a lot of really cool work. I think she posted something about Among Us recently for
Oh,
I think she did like I don't know if she's doing it for Among Us, but or if it was just something that she did in her spare time, but it was like a Santa crewmate or whatever they're called. Yeah, she's got some pretty cool stuff. She posts it every now and again. She's I think she's
yeah.
at Jasco Games is where what she does mostly now.
Games?
Jasco Games, I think she does
That's
stuff
good
for them.
games. Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
She's pretty cool. She did a great job. She was really, really easy to work with, and I mean she nailed it. You know,
Nice.
I just suggested something about like a skull maybe biting the logo, and she did the rest. I mean, she did a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah. Like you were alluding to, it actually says in her pinned tweet that she's senior game designer and art director at Jasco Games.
Oh, there you go.
Does many things, but her main graphic style is definitely anime.
Yeah.
Has worked with licenses from Capcom, Bandai, Namco, Toei Animation, Toho Funimation, Warner Brothers, and many more. Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's quite a wow.
Yeah, she's pretty great.
Yeah, and oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It was passion for drawing who got you in touch with her.
Yeah, well, he suggested that I try to get a hold of her and see if I can work with her. She is pretty reasonable. I mean, it was like I said, it was really easy to work with her. She came up with a lot of really cool ideas. I mean, ultimately, when she did the logo, I can't see the logo looking anything like anything else. Like it's just like that was it. The second I saw it, I was like, that's it. That's the logo.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet. It is a good one for sure.
Actually, I thought about putting on the campaign when I first started, tweeting and stuff like that for grave robbers. When I first started trying to spread the word around, I actually thought about putting a tier on the campaign when I launched like a $500 tier to get it as a tattoo. Like have somebody, if like I would videotape, or not videotape, I guess, I'm showing my age a little bit there, but like record,
you can do it with a smartphone nowadays.
Yeah, but like record myself getting the tattoo and something like that.
Really?
I thought about doing it, but I didn't think anybody would want to pay for that, so I was like, just do it by myself then.
Hey, I think it's worth putting up.
Yeah, maybe.
You never know. I mean, there are some people who want to see a project fund and want to be there to support them, but they won't necessarily need or want the physical product.
That's true.
They might not want the book at all. Like what's becoming a little more popular now is the tier where you buy the creator a drink. So
really,
yeah, Graham Nolan, I think his is like $10 or $20. Well, or is it $5? I don't remember. But on his campaign, the Chenu, you can buy him a drink. And then Billy Tucci has something similar for his wife, Deborah Tucci. Buy Deborah a drink, because she's been instrumental in helping with the fulfillment. And I think Cecil has one on his cash grab. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. but I think it's a great idea to do. So
I might do that
that's not like out of the realm of possibility. I mean, I think if you add that, it'll be a fun thing for whoever might be interested in seeing you get a tattoo done. I mean, one of the perks that the Peregrine team did was Piper offered to shave her head, shave
Did
the
she
hair.
actually do it?
Yeah,
Really? I didn't know that.
yeah. She followed through like a trooper.
Oh wow.
It didn't specify how much she'd shave, but it was. She ended up shaving it all off, from what I could tell. I think she did as much as she could live on stream by herself with the clipper razor,
Wow.
and then I guess she ended up missing some spots that she couldn't see easily. So after the stream, she shaved the rest of it off.
Wow.
I think she was originally going to go with like a very, very short buzz, but ended up just shaving it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
So
is
she's waiting for it to regrow. But it was one of their stretch tiers, and they reached that stretch tier. So that was cool.
wow. Man,
So,
I gotta come up with ideas like that.
yeah, there's some creative stuff going on in CG for sure. And
That makes my campaign seem so vanilla.
no,
I don't have anything like shave my head or anything like that.
well, I mean, if you're willing to do like a tier or a stretch goal where you get a tattoo, I think that you'll find people on board with the idea.
Maybe I'll do
That's just me. I mean, you can ask around and see what your backers are thinking. One thing you can do is on your campaign, the updates tab. You can do a post there saying, "Hey, I'm thinking of getting the Grave Robbers logo and title tattooed on me. Let me know of your interest." Or you could also do a Twitter poll. Twitter polls are easy to do.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And I think the maximum duration is 7 days on the poll. And at the end, you get the results as to how many people participated, who voted for what, and you can see what the comments were. In case somebody had any suggestions or funny things to say. Or you can do a combination of both, or
yeah, why not?
Any combo. So yeah, I think it would be fun personally because I wouldn't be the one getting it. I wouldn't be the one getting the tattoo because I just don't get tattoos.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate the artwork that people put into tattoos. Some stuff is really wicked looking.
Yeah, I've got a Captain America shield on my right arm.
Oh, nice.
The right arm. Yeah, I got that when I was about 19.
Oh, cool. That's a cool symbol.
It's it was before comics started really going downhill. It was around the time of it was around the time Brubaker was doing his run with oh god, that was right around when they brought in Winter Soldier.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I had always I remember there was a brief little thing with Captain America when that was on the X-Men TV series. I think it was just a really quick thing about Logan's past and stuff. And from that moment, I was like, man, Captain America is really cool. So I started checking out some of the Captain America books, and yeah, he stuck with me. I've been a really big Captain America fan since I was a kid. Not so much in the past 5 or 10 years, but
right.
Yeah, once that stuff ended with Brubaker, they started really going downhill. I was a really big. I'm still a really big fan of Steve Epting. He's one of my favorite artists, and his work on that whole series was really good. But they gave it to Rick Remender after that, and it wasn't bad. It just wasn't nearly as good. And then I stopped reading it because it just got so hard to keep up with, and and actually sit and pay attention and actually shell out the money for it. And by that period, I think that was right around the time Nick Spencer got a hold of it. And I was like, why would anyone buy this? It's just garbage. It's just trash. Like, that's what it was. And now Ta-Nehisi Coates, I think, is writing in. It's like, who is buying this comic? Like, who is buying this?
Now, the time that you stopped collecting Captain America, was that also around the time when they introduced like Captain America becoming a Nazi?
It was a little before that. Rick Remender ended up putting him in like a parallel universe for a little while or something, and he had like an orphan kid. I don't remember. I got maybe I think I got 4 comics into it, like 4 issues in, and I was done. And then the next thing, I think it was 2 or 3 years later, is when Spencer did that thing with him being a Nazi. And that's when I was like, okay, I made the right decision.
They jumped the shark.
Yeah, I got off in time. I hopped off that train careening towards a cliff. But it's gotten worse. Somehow it's gotten worse. I remember thinking that, like, wow, that is bad. And then like Ta-Nehisi Coates gets on it, and it's like, okay, I didn't see shit. Like, now it's gotten way worse.
Oh man, it's hard to believe how much worse it can get.
It's pretty crazy. It really is. It's like a self-topping. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like somebody who you think isn't that, like, they can't get any stupider, but then they do something, and then you're just like, wow, I was wrong. Like, they continually. The only thing that they continually do that surprises me now is get worse, because every time they get worse, I'm like, it can't. This is it. This is the bottom. It can't get worse than this. And then they release America Chavez, and it's like, what the hell is this? It's just the Star Wars comics are terrible. It's crazy. It's amazing how bad the art's gotten, but it's incredible to me how bad the stories have gotten. There's always a little bit of camp. There's always a little bit of cheese, and they're comic books. They're famous for being like over the top, and sometimes they're kind of goofy. But at the end of the day, generally speaking, I remember comics always being pretty cool.
Yeah,
and I don't know what it is these past. I'm gonna say actually 15 years, because I think that I've never been a Brian Michael Bendis fan, and I remember when he started doing his stuff with the Avengers, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I wasn't actually a big fan of his Ultimate Spider-Man, to be totally honest. But even then, it was still way better than what he's putting out now. It's kind of shocking. It really is.
Gotcha. Excuse me. At first, I thought you were going to say that you got the Captain America tattoo because you joined the military or something.
Oh no!
You were inspired.
No, it was. I just, I really liked Captain America. I thought he was cool. I liked the ideas that he represented, and I like the history behind the character. I don't know. It's something. There's something on that level that just resonated with me. And like I said, I was about 19. I want to say I was 19 or 20. So I guess I was about that age for the military, but I never joined the military.
Did you get any other superhero themed tattoos?
No, not yet. I thought about, hey, there's Hex Allen in the chat. I thought about getting some more tattoos. Like, I knew a guy who got a Silver Surfer tattoo that was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually really badass. It was like him. It was streaking around his leg. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
Another guy I knew had a Rogue tattoo from like the 90s era Rogue with like the leather jacket and stuff, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I like that version of Rogue.
Yeah, that was my favorite version of Rogue. My favorite version of Rogue is Savage Land Rogue. But yeah,
Savage Land Rogue. Okay.
Yeah, she was badass. But yeah, no, it's yeah, I don't know. Something about the early 90s, like the late 80s, early 90s, had some of the best comic book character designs, I think, ever. you know.
Yeah, that's the time I was collecting, and I guess I stopped collecting early 90s.
Yeah.
And then I never bought another book until, let me see. Actually, around that time, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they also have going on Death of Superman?
Yeah, I remember Death of Superman going on. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
I knew it was a huge gimmick, yeah, but I still bought copies of it, thinking that one day it would be worth something.
I have every single copy of the Death of Superman. I was the
Yeah,
same way. I remember it coming out, and I remember thinking like, I gotta get these comics. Like I
yeah,
gotta get every single one. So I went out and I bought every single one of those. Like I had the little checklist, and I was like checking them as I went. And I remember when they, after he died, they started doing the Reign of the Superman thing.
yeah. Then you had 4 new titles to pick up.
Yeah, I still have it. I still have Steel #1.
Uh,
And I have I think it was Superman. I don't think it was Action Comics, where they showed the cyborg Superman.
oh, right,
Like
right.
they revealed him. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Like I was like, this is Superman now. That's badass. Like I remember thinking like that is some of the coolest shit. I couldn't believe that they were gonna make him like half Terminator. I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. And then like he ended up being a crazy thing, and it wasn't really Superman. I was like, oh come on. Like we're just gonna go back to Superman. All right, I guess.
I I had a hard time with that whole Death of Superman thing. I mean, number one, it just seemed kind of lazy writing to just bring some brutish alien from out of the blue.
Yeah.
I mean, supposedly he was introduced in some other comic some time ago prior to that, but
I didn't know that.
like a very brief cameo or something. I don't know if it was even intended to be used as a feature character down the road, but I thought it was a cheap cash grab, a huge gimmick because they wanted to revamp it or reboot the Superman series.
Yeah.
And when I saw the 4 different Superman, I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
I didn't like the whole idea, and I didn't like the characters that spawned from the reign of the Superman either.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think I even bothered to buy issue #1 of any of those 4 titles.
I think I bought all of them.
I basically just bought the Death of the Superman book, and then did they all come in the black bag?
I think that
Or was there actually a version that had a cover that wasn't concealed by the black bag?
I don't remember. I remember I got the one with the black bag. I actually got 2 of them because I wanted to read one. And
I probably
kept
have
it.
two as well.
It's
Yeah.
probably I got a long box somewhere buried where it's got probably all those comics in them.
Yeah, and part of the big old gimmick was the inclusion of a black armband for the funeral.
I think I remember that.
You remember that?
Man, that's been a long time ago, but I vaguely remember something like that. I remember having an armband or a headband or something like that.
It was an armband, like to make you feel like you were attending his funeral.
Right.
It was silly, but
anything to chase that dollar, man.
I clearly knew it was a gimmick, but I picked it up anyway because I thought, well, it might be worth something.
Yeah. Well, that's the funniest thing is that I think I was talking to Passion, I think probably 2 or 3 months ago, we were talking about, early 90s books and stuff like that. And he was saying that he thought that Spawn #1 was kind of what toppled the industry, like what like pushed it over the edge. And I think he's right because, and don't get me wrong, because I love Spawn. I have every Spawn comic, I think up to 150 or 200. I'm a huge Spawn fan.
Okay.
But that said, It sold, I think, in the first month, it sold like 1 million something copies. No, Spawn #1, and I think what ended up happening was places like Marvel and places like DC looked at that and they went, maybe I think we could do that. I think we could probably sell like let's try to do something explosive that'll like it'll send the industry on its knees, and we'll end up selling like 1 million books in a single month. Because I think in total it ended up selling something like 1.3 million copies. So I think that
Spawn #1.
I think it did.
What
I think
was
Spawn
the-
#1.
What was the special thing that they did with Spawn #1?
It was just the first Spawn book. It was, well, I think it was the first book that Image Comics launched.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's what it was. I think that people were like, oh, well, we've got Rob Liefeld, we've got Todd McFarlane, all of these guys that are Jim Lee, I think, with the Wildcats. All of these really big names are going in, and they're going in for themselves, and they're giving them the middle finger to the industry. So we got to hop on this. So all of these people win. I don't remember how many Wildcat, Savage Dragon, and shit, what was the other book? I can't remember. But anyway, all of these books, they sold really well initially. So Marvel, I think, was like, oh, we got to do that. And that's when DC, I think, was like, well, let's flip the switch on the death of Superman. Let's do all of these really big things. Let's do all of these huge crossovers, all of this shit. And, it worked for a little while, but I think it killed the industry because, you had a spectator market where people were like sitting and watching to get the best book, trying to, because back then, the Punisher, the first appearance of the Punisher was worth thousands of dollars. Now I can go on eBay and I can get it for a couple $100, but so back then, it was a big deal, but now it's like, okay, yeah, it's sort of a big deal. It's still big, but it's not nearly as big. So
not as big a deal.
in the 90s, it had its crash, it had its tank, and then like the early 2000s, it had its revival, I want to say. With Ultimate Spider-Man was a big deal for a little while. Brian Michael Bendis brought in the Avengers and kind of revamped that a bit, albeit I wasn't a huge fan of any of that, but it brought in good books like the Captain America book. Miss Marvel's book was actually kind of interesting for a little while.
Was that still Carol Danvers?
Yeah, it was still Carol back then. I don't call Carol Danvers Captain Marvel. In my mind, she's still Miss Marvel, and I don't think that's ever gonna change. Just like in my head, it's still 2005 somehow.
Same. So, do you consider Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel, or
I forgot about her. I could see that.
Or do you consider Shazam, formerly Captain Mar-Vell?
I prefer Mar-Vell, but I don't think that he was really big when I was a kid, and I don't think that she was really big either when I was a kid, to be honest.
Yeah, the whole Captain Marvel line, as I understand it, has never really taken off very big.
Yeah, it's had its moments, but
yeah.
And
even during the Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau line, they each had their group of fans, but it didn't seem like it ever got big enough of an audience to make it a hit. So they've literally revamped the Captain Marvel books, I think 8 or 9 times already.
Well, in the past 5 years, I know that they've rebooted it like 6 times.
Yeah.
It gets up to issue 5 and they're like, this shit isn't selling. Put out another #1.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a repeated failure. Yet they decide to make that one of the big movies in the MCU by shoehorning it in.
What a mistake that was.
Yeah, speaking of comics, there was the other one I felt was a huge gimmick was McFarlane's Spider-Man cover, where Spider-Man's all crouched down and he's surrounded by his webbing.
Oh, you're talking about the one where it's on its side?
I don't know if it's on its...
Where the comic book is like tilted 90 degrees.
I don't remember it being that one, but
Oh, okay.
it was the one where they had all these variants. So you had like a silver foil variant, you had a gold foil variant, you had the original one. I think there was also a black and white version.
I think there was a silver one too, wasn't there?
I
There
think
was gold and silver.
you're right,
I
right,
think I
right.
know what you're talking about now, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's great looking artwork, and but I think that's also when they were starting to get carried away with multiple variants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and if I heard right, within the last year or two, Marvel and DC were pulling. Oh no, Marvel was pulling that gimmick again, and for some of its titles, was releasing like 30 variants.
Jesus Christ. I know that Death of Wolverine had 20 or something like that, but oh man, I can't believe they did that again.
Oh man,
It's nuts. Like who's gonna buy all those? You
right.
know?
Exactly.
There's got to be somebody out there who's just like, all right, well, I guess I'm just gonna not have a paycheck this week. It's just, I don't get it. I just, some of those covers, like I remember when Secret Invasion came out.
Mhm.
I was trying to keep up with it. I think it was 8 books is what Secret Invasion was, and it ended up being a huge letdown. But
Really?
I wasn't a huge fan of Secret Invasion. I liked the idea of Dark Reign, which came after it. I liked the idea of it, but I thought the execution was crap. But
Mm,
Secret Invasion, I thought, because what ended up happening was oh, anybody could be a skull. Like
right.
every single ad was
Avenger.
like, yeah, it would have like, oh, here's that classic Doctor Doom scene where he's like taking his mask off, but oh no, it's not Doctor Doom, it's a scroll behind the mask, and like anybody could be a scroll. It's anybody,
Uh,
and then it was like Jarvis and I think Spider Woman, and that was pretty much it. Like that was it. Those were the scrolls. Elektra,
mm.
who was dead, was a scroll, and it's just like, really, this is it. Like this is the scrolls A game. They could pull off Jarvis, Iron Man's butler, and Jessica Drew.
Uh,
That's it. That's what they had. That was their A game. And it's
oh
just
my
like,
God.
why would you, like, they ran all those ads and it's just like, all right, we're just gonna have a couple of them. It's like, why the hell would you? Oh, I think Ant-Man was a scroll too. It's
I
just
thought,
like,
I thought it was supposed to be most of the Avengers, or
I don't think so.
okay, all right.
I think it was just, I think when they did the reveal, I think that was like the big ones. Like those were the big ones. Like the queen of the scrolls was the whole time it was Jessica Drew. It was just Spider Woman, and like she was trying to like bang Tony for like 4 or 5 issues, and they're like, oh, okay, that's why she was doing that. And it's just like,
What, to procreate so they have alien babies?
I think she was trying to seduce him so she could have influence. I have no idea. I don't think Bendis knew. He's just like, oh, we'll just make it like that.
Oh gosh.
So at the end of the day, what I think ended up happening was like, oh, Marvel was just like, oh, that's a really good idea. We'll definitely do that. That is so cool. That's a great idea. And he was like, all right, I want this person. I want this person. I want this person. And what if, Captain America was actually a Skrull when he died? And then we can bring him back. And then we'll do this and we'll do that. And Marvel was just like, oh, hold on. That's a lot of characters you're bringing in here. I think we could do maybe 3, maybe 4.
Yep.
Because a lot of those people had actual titles. Because I think I think Captain America was still going. That was with Winter Soldier, but I think they had a couple of them that had their own titles that he wanted to make probably into Skrulls. And how are you going to explain that? On the next issue, like next month, you're just like, oh yeah, he was a Skrull, so I guess we're just gonna not have him in this issue. It's shit like that, and I think that's what ended up making that whole event choke, was that it was so lackluster because nobody cared.
That's sad. Yeah, I man.
Nobody wanted to work with it. Nobody wanted to make their You know, it's like with Brubaker. You know, like if you would have approached him and been like, "Hey, what if Captain America was a Skrull?" And like, "No, get the hell away from me."
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you talking about? No, he's not a Skrull. I have a complex story that I'm trying to work out here. And you know, I think that's what it was, is ultimately nobody wanted to screw up their entire story so that it could be, you know, Bendis's, you know, big thing. So
Mm. Yeah.
yeah. That's my take, at least. That's my guess. I mean, what the hell do I know? But you know.
Yeah. I never I think I stopped collecting comics before, you know, Secret Invasion and stuff like that. Welcome, Hexalon Comics. Hello again.
Yeah.
Welcome, Yotam Darkstar. That was cool. Beyond Time, welcome. Good to have you guys.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a tangent, but that's cool.
Yeah.
So you decided to go crowdfunding. What made you choose Indiegogo over, say, the other guys? Kickstarter.
Well, I don't want to get kicked off of Kickstarter. You know, I've seen a lot of people with like your boy Zach and stuff like that. You know, he with what happened with him and everything. I didn't like that. I don't like the way they do business. I think that that's pretty shitty. So, you know, I decided to go, you know, and work with ComicsGate and get, you know,
Sweet.
definitely be on Indiegogo. You know, don't want to give the you know, don't want to give Kickstarter that money if I can avoid it. Anybody, anytime. Well, that's the thing. You know, I could have you know, I've thought about going different places with the book and everything, but I mean, at the end of the day, I like ComicsGate. I like what ComicsGate believes in. I like the ideas behind it. I don't like the idea of politicized comic books. I think that's just, at the end of the day, just a waste of time. Nobody wants to, you know, it's like if you were to go into a crowded room and stand on a box and just scream your opinions at people. Nobody wants to hear that. And that's what they've done with comic books. And you know, I have no interest in that, and I have no interest in, you know, becoming like that. So,
Right.
you know, and ComicsGate, you know, they believe that, you know, and I consider myself ComicsGate, and you know, I've bought a lot of ComicsGate books, and then there's a lot of really great ComicsGate books out there still coming out, actually. And you know,
Seriously.
yeah, you know, there's fantastic books out there, and I just wanted to be a part of that. You know, I just want to be a part of that movement. I think ComicsGate's amazing. I think that you know, I think that what they've done, you know, for the industry, you know, just creating a space for people who don't want to have their independent comics, you know, their IPs and stuff like that trampled over, and don't want to be held to a ridiculous, nonsensical standard that doesn't make sense. You know, I think that's amazing. I think that a lot of people have contributed to this, and you know, ultimately, I think it's just got legs, and I want to be a part of that. I want to grab a shovel, you know.
Now, if that's quite appropriate to grave robbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you're in a boat, then you grab an oar, but if you're digging graves, you grab a shovel.
Exactly.
Very clever segue.
Thank you.
So you're really big into writing. Was Pastor for drawing your artists here?
Yeah, he's done all of the interior work. He's done the cover as well. He's been the only people that aren't passion for drawing that have worked on the art for this, aside from the of course the logo. The only stuff that isn't him is the trading cards so far. I have a few stretch goal stories that I'd like to add that probably won't be passion for drawing, but as it stands now, 36 pages, you know, front to cover are all passion for drawing.
Nice. So how did you two even connect? How did you guys decide to work on this project together?
It's kind of a fluke, actually. I had shopped around to a couple of different artists, and nothing really seemed to work. No, you know, I had a little bit of art done by I don't even remember the guy's name, but he it wasn't bad. It just wasn't what I was looking for. And I just started, I just kept looking for about a year. And I happened to see him on Twitter, and I followed it to his Instagram, his Twitter to his Instagram. And I saw some of the work that he was doing, and I thought, it looked really cool. He did a lot of really cool monsters. One of my main characters is a werewolf, so that was pretty important to me. And I just sent him a message. I'm like, hey, are you, doing commissions? And he was like, yeah. So, we got onto a call and, over the internet, and we just started talking and stuff like that. And he did, I think he did 3 commissions for me for I think Amanda. It was just the main cast, Big Dick, Amanda, and Waylon. Then he just did such a phenomenal job, and it was exactly what I was looking for. That I was just like, can you do more of this? And he liked the characters so much, and we got to talking about it, and he liked it so much. He was like, yeah, let's give this a shot. And before I knew it, he was drawing the book.
Sweet.
So, yeah, it was pretty cool. He's a cool guy. He's done a lot of great books, or he's done a lot of great work. His book Doom Fate's out. I think he's actually sending that out right now. And I mean, it's a great book. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I don't know if he's sending it out right now. I know it's finished. I should probably be specific about that. I don't want to put out the wrong information.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's definitely finished. I think that he's in the process of it, but that he's shown me a lot of work for it, and it looks fantastic. He's done some work for Raging Golden Eagle that was really good.
All right, nice.
Yeah, he's shown me some of that stuff too, and like I said, he's just did a hell of a job on my book. I'm blown away by it. He has this weird style that's sort of like a combination between Bernie Wrightson and Madeira, but I love it. I think it works really good for my story, because I don't want to give off too serious of a vibe. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it's a fun story. It's just got a lot of dark themes in it and everything, like a lot of dark themes. But it's kind of like, I like to say that's like a more serious Evil Dead 2, or like Army of Darkness. Like, it's got that level of like gore, over the top level of gore, but it's not nearly as like funny. So, it's definitely a more of a serious thing, but I definitely wanted to give it some levity. So his art kind of produces both of those things. And I think like you look at the skull, he still has a mustache on the skull. You know what I mean? So it's kind of goofy, it's kind of fun, but it's still, it's a really well told story, with just incredible artwork.
I was trying to find that part you were describing, the mustache on the tongue. I mean,
no,
skull.
Yeah, go down. I think it's the next page, right there. Up one more. Right, stop. There you go.
On the middle guy, or let me see. Am I blind?
The skull right above the middle guy. You see it? You see the mustache on it?
No, I don't.
It's like right below the cursor. You see it?
Right over here?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Now I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was part of the skull, the
temporal
bone that holds the teeth in. Gotcha. Ah, that's funny.
Yeah, so it's got silly moments. She pokes out that dude's eyeballs in the last page, and in this page, she's holding out a middle finger with the eyeball on the tip of her finger. And it's just stuff like that. It's fun. We have this one. I told some people about this. There's a panel where this guy stabs Big Dick Murphy, and Big Dick Murphy yells, in pain, and he turns around and he clocks the guy right in the jaw. But the thing is when we actually have the shot of the fist connecting with the guy's jaw, we have like a picture of like an X-ray machine where it has like the fist crushing the jawbone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's gonna look phenomenal once it's done and once it's colored. But
Yeah, kind of like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies.
right. And you know,
That's
we wanted to make it serious, but we wanted to add some levity and some fun to it and shit like that. You know, make it really cool and a really fun read. You know, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You know, if the book can be really well written and be boring as hell, we didn't want to make it like Moby Dick. We wanted to make it like, like Drag Me to Hell.
Mm. This is the logo that was done by Das Nomos, right?
Right.
She did the lettering as well.
No, I'm actually going to be doing the lettering.
No, I mean,
oh, you're talking about on the logo, yeah,
on the logo,
right? Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, she did it. She did that too.
Okay.
She had those little bullet holes and the little blood that's seeping off of the letters. I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, that I was looking at that and I saw the bullet holes in the word robbers is kind of like bullet holes in fabric on the cowboy wearing it and the blood dripping down, whereas the bullet holes, okay, all right, I was looking at it wrong. The grays were faded out. I couldn't tell from the smaller version of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
At first I thought it was like a more clean hole.
Yeah.
In the bullet holes for the word grave, because it's bullets going through like concrete or through rock or gravestone or something like that. But I do see the the material like kind of like fabric as well in the letters of grave.
I like to think it's like a street sign that somebody shot out.
Yeah.
The paint kind of came off of it when it impacted.
Gotcha. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good analogy. But that's a good logo, definitely. Let's watch this trailer here.
Definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, that ended up turning out really well. WyzGyz did that for me, and he did a phenomenal job on it.
I was about to ask who did the trailer.
Yeah.
So when you, being the storyteller, the writer, when you submit your ideas to Passion for Drawing, do you have like a very detailed script, or do you do a script in combination with thumbnails or sketches?
Well, what Passion and I did was a little different. A lot of times, a writer will write something and they'll just send it off to the artist, and they'll just they'll draw it to the best of their ability and then send an image back and be like, hey, is this what you're looking for? What me and Passion decided to do was we decided to go down and go panel by panel, page by page, and make this book. We went from page one, and we were like, okay, well, what are we trying to say here? What are we trying to do here? Another big thing is this is my first time working with visual art. A lot of my writing has been just straight up, just writing. So I haven't actually done a comic book before. So, when I was actually writing this comic, I watched an interview with Stan Lee, probably 10 or 15 years. Man, it might have been 20 years. Anyway, the point is that, he was explaining that, Jack Kirby and, he would watch a lot of movies. And that's why Doctor Strange looks a lot like Vincent Price, for example. They got a lot of inspiration from movies and stuff like that from in the 60s, and they would write their scripts like they were movie scripts. And that's what he was saying, is that that was the idea. I don't know how much of that is actually true, but I was like, well, you know what, that's a good idea. I'll try to write like a movie script. I've written movie scripts. I've written a couple of movie scripts. I've never actually had a movie picked up, but I've written them down. But I was like, okay, let me try that and let's see what'll happen. So I started writing it and I pounded out. Originally I think it was like 34, 30, 33 pages. I cut it back a bit to 28 to try to make it a standard comic book length. And as we started writing and stuff like that, as he started drawing and I started explaining what I wanted, he we kind of spread it out to add more pages. But it ended up going panel, lead into the next page, panel, and we would just draw it that, or he would draw it that way. And we ended up doing, it took us 2 months, and we would meet, I think about once a week we would meet, and we would spend a couple hours on like Google Hangouts or Discord or whatever, and we would just pound out 4 or 5 pages a night.
Wow.
And it was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. I had a pretty good time. He's a cool guy to talk to, and he's excited about the project. And we would sit and we would talk. Oh, this would be cool. Oh man, that would be really cool. What about if we did this? And I think people are gonna walk away and they're gonna feel that when they read the book, because it's a fun, like it was a lot of fun to write. It was a lot of fun to watch him draw it. And it was fun to come up with new ideas on how to kill people. It was just, it sounds a little messed up, but at the end of the day, it's a hell of a lot of fun. We have a couple of guys that, like, with the eye poking, like the poking through the back of the head through the eyes. I sat there, I was like, well, what if instead of just cutting his head off or slashing it or something like that, she just jabs her fingers right through his eye holes? And he was like, yeah, okay. And then like that sounds like it'd be really awesome. And then the next page was like, well, what if she's holding it on the middle finger? I don't remember who suggested that one. It was a lot of fun, and it was just goofy to do, and it's just fun to sit down, because it wasn't really like we were working. It was like we were just hanging out, laughing about what would be awesome and what would be cool, and
right.
And that's how we made the book. It was a hell of a lot of fun, and I think that's going to come across when people read it. Good time.
Yeah, I mean, back when I was collecting comics, I was often, gravitating towards like some of the slightly campy stuff.
Yeah,
like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold.
I love Booster Gold, man. Blue Beetle's pretty cool too.
Yeah, they were fun, and I mean, I always view comics as escapism. You want something to give you a break from the norm day to day. And if you start inserting politics and making everything based on things that happen in the real world, then you're not doing the job.
Yeah.
Welcome, Edwin Acevedo.
Hey, how's it going, man? I didn't see he entered the chat.
Hey, XLN Comics. Matanui, ugh, I keep forgetting to check. Forgetting to check what? uh, yeah, so let's see. We got that. So fully colored, 36 page. Is it literally already completed?
No, it's not. It's not. It's partially completed. We're still working on it's all drawn. It just needs excuse me. It just needs to be finalized. He's already sketched out and we've gone through every single page and, drawn it out and everything. But he just needs to go over it, finish the pencils, add a little bit more detail, and then ink them. And then they have to be colored. And then they'll be done. We actually have, I think, four or five pages that are 100% complete. It's just like I said, they just need to, like you see, needs to just sit down and finish them. He's taking a little bit of a break right now. After Doom Fate, he's kind of worn out. I think he said that originally that book was only supposed to be like 30 something pages. I can't remember exactly, but he said it wasn't supposed to be more than, it was a decent sized book, but it wasn't huge. That book ended up being like 100 and something pages. He had to cut it in half.
What?
Yeah, it ended up being 60 pages and he cut it in half. So, yeah, the book that everybody's getting is like twice the size of what people they paid for, I think.
Oh my
And
God.
and not only this, but he penciled it, he inked it, and he colored it all himself. So he spent months coloring this book. We joke about it. We call him Passion for Retirement because he's retiring from he's retiring from coloring completely. He said that the next book he's just going to pay somebody to color it because he doesn't want to do it.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't blame him, man. He spent so much time doing that. So he told me, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna buy Cyberpunk 2020 or 2077. I'm just gonna take like a week and I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna go on streams. I'm not doing anything.
Just do some gaming. Yeah.
Yeah, just
There you
chill
go.
out and let his hands heal.
Yeah, really. So you are 52% funded. So everybody back Grave Robbers.
Absolutely.
You got a $5,000 fixed goal USD.
Right.
Would you mind sharing how that breaks out? Like, is the majority of the cost the artist services? Because he's doing pencils, inks, and colors, and you're doing the lettering, right? And you're the storyteller.
Right. So, I don't know how specific you want me to get, but
Well, I mean, it's totally up to you. I mean, is a chunk of it like shipping? A chunk of it the materials for shipping, like the boxes? Whether you use media mail or Gemini mailers, is a chunk of it the projected shipping cost to overseas international backers? I presume a chunk of it is obviously for your artists.
yeah, that's actually the biggest chunk. So all total, I'll probably spend I want to say it's close to like 8,000 is what I'm going to be spending on the book. The majority of it is, I mean, a lot of it, I don't know if the majority of it, but a significant amount of it is going to the art. A decent amount of it, man, I don't want to
I think it
I don't
often
want to tell people do what.
I think it often does.
Yeah, I don't want to tell people how much.
No, you
I want,
don't even go there.
but it's not
you're,
cheap.
are you expecting? Are you finding through the course of the campaign so far that you've got a huge audience or bigger than expected audience overseas, so you're selling more books over there, and you're thus going to be charging, maybe 20-25 bucks a book for every one you ship out?
Well,
also factoring in how much time and effort you put in yourself as the writer?
Well, I'm not paying myself like at all. I've paid mostly out of pocket for everything so far. Um, all of the promo work, all of the commissions, all of the pages that you see so far, those are all bought and paid for by me. I've you know, it's all out of pocket. All of that. The thing is that with like the $5,000, I'm gonna say at least 3/5 of that, probably close to 65% is going to go towards the art. Another probably 1,000 of that is probably going to go towards the coloring, and the rest is going to shipping. I'm still going to probably be paying out of pocket for that, but it definitely lessens the impact with $5,000.
Yeah. I mean, every first time campaigner, well, not every, but quite often, a lot of first time campaigners don't realize profits until their second or third book.
Yeah.
Because number one, you haven't yet fulfilled a project yet, so a lot of first time creators don't have like a record, a history in the comics business.
Right.
To start. So you are literally building your name, your platform, your characters from the ground up. So it's not uncommon for people not to be profitable until the second or third book.
Right. Yeah, and I've talked to a lot of people, and they've told me that same thing. And that's cool. I've got another. I think I'll say probably 10 comics that I've written for this, and I'd like to make them all. Even if it comes at a loss, I still want to put them out just because I think they're good books. I think it's a fun story. I think people will love them. I just got to get this first one in people's hands and get a name for myself going out there. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But even if I got to run through it again, I'm definitely going to be making this book.
Yeah, so you're looking at a 10-issue run on Grave Robber series.
Well, this one is actually Welcome to Hellhole is 5 stories. Well, it's five comics, and I actually have 10 written. I have probably 50 that I want to write. I have 50 comics. Yeah, I've had, like I said, I write a lot in my spare time.
Wait, so are you saying that Welcome to Hellhole is 5 stories all in one book?
Or? No, it's sorry.
It's like volume 1, chapter 1.
It's like it's one story split into 5 parts, but it's each story is so it's 5 issues total. Welcome to Hellhole Part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they're all each individual issues.
Right.
But yeah,
this campaign is on
chapter 1. Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I didn't.
The sequel will be like volume 1, chapter 2.
It'll just be volume 1, chapter 2.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah, the next one is shorter. It's only going to be 3 issues, 3 or 4. I think it can be told in 3. It's called El Paso Sucks, and it's I thought that was a fun little name for it, but it's just a quick stop in El Paso that ends with vampires.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've got another one called Magic Man that's 4 or 5 issues long.
Okay.
I've got another one that it's untitled, but it's basically about like I'm a big fan of like the Jason movies, like the Friday the 13th movies, and it's kind of like that, but instead of Jason, it's got a I guess a zombie conquistador. Yeah, so it's like there's this Mexican these Mexican twins, and they're like descended from these Aztec priest and priestess, So they're cursed, like all of their family members are cursed to be hunted by this,
Oh,
you
dang.
know. So the conquistador is like Jason. He has him like a conquistador sword instead of machete.
Oh my
You
god.
know, it's
Wow.
kind of cool. I thought it was a fun little idea. So, I
All
kind
right,
of ran
so
with it.
Grave Robbers Welcome to Hellhole is like volume 1, chapter 1, correct?
Right.
All right, cool. Welcome, Miss Rena.
Yeah, welcome.
Hello again. I have a question since you CGers have an established fan base. How might a lesser name like myself get my project funded quicker? What can I do to draw people in? All right, so if you're brand new and are wanting to get your first comic book based project funded quicker, if you want to focus like on the ComicsGate audience and be part of ComicsGate, I would recommend sticking with Indiegogo as your platform. If you want to kind of target the general indie community, you might consider Kickstarter. Some creators will actually do both platforms, and then they'll offer specific exclusives on Indiegogo and other exclusives on Kickstarter to try and generate extra interest. As far as I'm concerned, one of the biggest things you got to do is build an audience, build followers. You have a channel that you've created on YouTube, and I would suggest you start making videos on it. It's going to be slow and time consuming, but in the end, it'll pay off.
Also, I would say get a sign up list going. If you can get a sign up list going, like if you go to Indiegogo, you can get a sign up list. You can put up pictures of your art, kind of get a little bit of a blurb on what your book's about, and kind of get an idea. That way, you can get it out there, but you don't really have to. You don't have anything to lose. Plus, people will sign up for it, and you get the email, so you can send them emails about it. And, get updates and keep them interested. A lot of people on my campaign, I'd say probably close to 30 people that have bought my books have been people from my sign up list. It definitely helps.
Yeah, the Indiegogo pre-launch page is where people go to your page and learn more about your new project. And that's where they input their email address and confirm that they want to get updates from you. And as I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you can have that pre-launch page up for up to 6 months before you go live. But then once you're ready to go live, you definitely want to go live.
Definitely.
Otherwise, I guess it closes your campaign or something or other.
It does. That happened to me.
Yeah, so you don't want that to happen. You want to be prepared and be ready to launch when the 6 months is up, if not sooner. General rule of thumb is get as much of your book done prior to launch as possible. Minimum 25%, ideally more. Go on people's streams. You don't have to necessarily be a guest, but it's easier for people to get to know you better if you are a guest on a panel, on a stream, just so you get your face or your avatar out there. Get in on, sit in on chats, participate in the chats, and get to know people and interact with people. And your personality will come through, and people will get to know you better that way as well. If you feel like it, you can occasionally throw a creator a super chat, and especially if there's something in the stream that resonates with you. And even, don't be afraid to leave comments on other people's videos that you've watched that you've enjoyed. Uh, it's all about getting out there. I mean,
Definitely.
Twitter, according to my YouTube analytics, is one of the biggest sources of my audience. Nearly half of my audience on my live streams come from Twitter. Come from subscribers, while nearly half are non-subscribers that I'm hoping to pull in to become subscribers. And a huge chunk of my traffic specifically comes from Twitter. And I think that's because I do so much promotion and advertising on Twitter. A smaller chunk, another big chunk comes from like YouTube recommendations. I think part of it is because whenever you look at who's live streaming at a given time, my channel tends to pop up, particularly because I stream so damn much. But then there's a portion of my audience, I think, that is coming from Facebook now, that is slowly building up. I don't get much of anything from Twitter. My average views on, Twitch. I'm sorry. My average views on Twitch are 0.1 users. Let's see here. Hexallen Comics just subbed. Nice.
Awesome.
Hexallen says, it happened to me. Matt, I knew he's not sure, but can very at least say, be wary of Twitter. Yeah. You just want to try and avoid all the drama,
Yes. That's what I
do
try
your best
to
to
do.
avoid the drama. Focus on all the positivity and all the, whenever something cool or exciting is going on in your world, feel free to share it,
Absolutely, man.
Hexallen Comics says, I don't have a personality. Don't worry about it. That is far from the truth. Thanks, but I'm not sure if I want to upload videos. Oh, really? Okay. I'm very shy and tend to stay quiet when I'm around people.
You got to break that. You gotta get out there. You gotta get on streams. I'm the same way. I tend not to be very talkative, but I try to make myself talk, and I try to make myself, get into what we're talking about, because at the end of the day, I think what people really pick up on is your excitement about your book. So if you're not talking about it and you're not excited about it and you're not like, this is an awesome book, this is a fun book, I think people are going to love this book. If you're just like, yeah, it's a good book, and I think people are really going to like it. I really hope people go out and if you're like that, you're not gonna people are just gonna be like, okay, well, it seems like it's kind of a mad book. But if you're excited about it and you want to talk about it and you want to get out there and you want to make people excited about it, they'll get excited about it. I'm not funded yet, and I might not fund this time, but maybe I'll fund next time. But even regardless of what happens, I'm out there, and I'm trying to get people excited about my book. I'm trying to get people excited about, the characters in my book, the art. That's the biggest thing, is to make people excited, because nobody's going to get excited for you. You got to get out there and you got to put your name out there and you got to make people get excited. And it sounds hard, but it's really not, because you like your book. So, you're your biggest fan. So you go out there and you just be your biggest fan.
Exactly. Yeah. When you're excited about your own project, your passion shows. And
Absolutely.
It shines. It makes you shine. It makes your project shine. It makes people excited. And I know it's rough initially, but you'll get used to it quickly. You'll get acclimated. If you're ever interested, it's an open invite. DM me on Twitter, WyzGyz Tweets, and I'll make time for us to get together and we can coordinate, whenever time works best. If you're interested, and I'll set up a mock live stream, and we can test out your audio, your avatar, make sure it comes up fine. We can test out your video if you eventually want to show up live, like I do on my channel. And, and I'll help you any way I can and give pointers and suggestions on, being on people's channels and stuff. So think about it. If you're ever interested, DM me.
There you go.
But what Mark said is spot on.
It sounds hard. It sounds hard, and it's gonna be hard, but you get used to it and you get into it. That's really what it's about.
And when it comes to Indiegogo, at least, you have the choice of fixed goal or flexible goal. If it's fixed goal and you don't make the goal, heaven forbid, then the money gets refunded automatically by Indiegogo to all the backers.
Right.
You probably you really want to stick with as realistic as possible your goal that you set for yourself. Try not to go too crazy high, because if it's too high, then a certain amount of the population is going to be concerned about it hitting that goal unless you see quick movement up front. If you have a flexible goal, then if it doesn't if it doesn't fund, then it's, as I understand it, more or less a collaboration between the creator and the backers in terms of deciding how to proceed, whether people want to request refunds or not, or however you want to handle it, or if the creator is going to fulfill to those who did back the campaign. Every creator is different. Everyone handles it different. But usually I only suggest going with a flexible goal if no matter what happens, whether you get fully funded or not, you still intend on fulfilling. And no matter what you do on your campaigns, do everything you possibly can to make fulfillment happen. Because the first campaign is going to be the toughest. If you prove that you can fulfill a campaign, that'll make your backers happy and make them more willing to back you on future campaigns.
Yep, absolutely.
So the inspiration for Grave Robbers, is it correct to say it's mainly from you and your dad watching Westerns and your grandpa?
Yeah, I'd have to say that's mostly the inspiration. Movies like anything with John Wayne, Searchers, McClintock, probably McClintock, probably the most. I loved McClintock.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's just they're good movies, they're fun movies, and they were made really cheaply and really quickly, but they were done in such they had such a presence with the characters and with the actors at the time, and the scripts. It was like a golden age of cinema when it came to a lot of those movies. The Shootist is probably one of the greatest movies ever written, in terms of westerns, aside from maybe Tombstone. But it's a really good movie. It's not action packed, but it's really good. I don't know. I could talk about them all day. There's
yeah. I love westerns too, and I watched them with my parents, and then later with my mother-in-law because she was into them too.
Right on.
We had to get one of the special add-on packages for our satellite TV at the time, just to get a Western channel, because it seems like it's getting harder and harder to find westerns on.
It is. It seems like they're getting harder. Like it seems like they're making a lot less. Like they in the '60s they made tons, and the '50s
Yeah.
they made tons. But for some reason, there's just. I mean, the past 10 years, what have we had? Like the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah,
You know,
I think there's still a big audience for westerns.
I think there is too. I love westerns. You put a gun in a holster and you have somebody quick draw. I'll be in the audience.
Yeah,
You know that's just good movie. Like that's good cinema is what that is.
yeah,
And but we got Tombstone, and that was in the '90s. God, that was like 30 years ago. That's hard to believe.
right.
But yeah, Tombstone was, I think, one of the greatest westerns ever made. Like it was just, I don't know, there was just something about that movie that's always resonated with me. With you could probably tell Wyatt Earp is a huge influence on Big Dick Murphy, in terms of aesthetically. But he the story of Wyatt Earp, the story of Doc Holliday and the Earp brothers, and
Yeah, those are cool stories.
yeah, man. Well, I don't know if you remember, but in the movie, Wyatt Earp gets into a shootout with Curly Bill, and they're on one side of a river, and Wyatt Earp's on the other, and they're pinned down because they get Curly Joe's men, come behind them, and they get him in a crossfire. So they're pinned down. So what Wyatt Earp does, and this really happened, this actually happened, he stands up in the middle of the battle, right in the middle of the firefight and everything, stands up straight, walks out into the river with a shotgun, double-barreled shotgun, just right out into the middle of the river, just shouting no over and over and over again. Just no, no. Then he gets to the middle of the river, and Curly Bill decides, you know what, the hell with this son of a bitch. I'm going out there too. And he comes out running out into the middle of the river and misses every single shot. Like Wyatt Earp doesn't level that shotgun at him until Curly Bill is sitting there and shooting nothing. Like he's just click, click, click. And he's got nothing, and that's when he shoots him, like just point blank with that shotgun, shoots Curly Bill, and that really happened. Like it's just like how the hell did that? I don't know. In the movie, they're like, man, have you ever seen something like that before? And the guy's like, man, I ain't even ever heard of anything like that before. And that's just that's the kind of energy that I wanted to bring to Big Dick. Like I just wanted him to be this badass that just people looked at and just went, what the hell? It's a cool scene, and it's just crazy that it really happened. And those kinds of stories are hard to come by.
No, yeah, it's and then you kind of throw in a dash of like mysticism and supernatural,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
a touch of horror.
Yeah, horror movies are a huge influence on me. My dad liked westerns. He liked he liked a lot of stuff, but there was something about horror films that was just always something that I loved. I don't know. It's just something that's always been really cool to me. I think it's because there's so much focus on the bad guy. You get that pathos from the bad guy. Like you understand him, and the main characters are kind of irrelevant to some extent, especially with like the Jason movies. But there's a huge focus on the bad guy, and I always found them to be the most compelling. That's why the grave robbers themselves aren't necessarily good guys. They've definitely got an element to them where they're not there to save the day. They're there to make a bag of money. So it's not so much good versus evil. It's okay versus horrifyingly evil. You shift it down from good to like neutral. And that's kind of like Amanda's probably the best of them. She's got a little bit of a heart to her. But Waylon is a straight up cutthroat. He's there because there's money. Well, not necessarily money, but he has his own motivations. Big Dick is there because of money and his own personal vengeance. His wife and son were killed by a skinwalker, which is a Navajo witch, and it left him, cursed with the werewolf thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he's on kind of a rampage, he's been on like a 10-year rampage on that. And they all have their own motivations, but that's his biggest thing. And they basically get money to get by, doing what they do. So they're just trying to make it, trying to live.
On these stretch goals, so the first one is 5,000.
Right.
Is it pronounced Rich Art or is it Reich Art?
Well, I've had 5 different pronunciations.
Oh,
people of all. Sim Poitier. He actually, I think he's the only one that's ever said it. It's Richard with like a very soft T. He's a Frenchman. He was a Crusader. He's like 611 years old, and he was a Crusader that he fought in the Crusades and everything. He fought, he was one of the Knights Templar, and when the church basically capsized the order of the Knights Templar, he was one of the only surviving members of it, and so he flees to Lithuania to escape the church, and there he basically gives up on God and turns to darker means. So being that he does that, he starts a cult, and that cult gets bigger and bigger, and he decides to move it to the Wild West in the United States because there's no law. So he takes it, moves it all the way over here, and takes root up in I think I have it in Oklahoma. But so he gets everything started there and just amasses this big demonic cult. They all worship this demon, and that's they're searching for something in Hellhole. And so are the grave robbers.
So 7,500. Excuse me. We got the grave robber skull sticker.
Right.
10,000. Road to Hellhole short story.
Yeah.
A 5-page short story will be added, boosting the total page count to 41 pages.
Right. It's just a really quick short story that I wrote. Originally, I was going to. I don't know what I was going to do with this. I just kind of wrote it, and it's just something fun that I thought was cool. So it doesn't have anything to do with the main storyline. It's just something that happens to them on the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
15,000 is a false dichotomy short story. 3-page short story will be added, boosting the total page count to 44.
False dichotomy. Are you familiar with Future Shock from 2000 AD?
I've heard of it, but not really.
Basically, it's a test for authors. What 2000 AD does is they say, okay, we've got a new author who wants to submit something. Let's have them write a 3-page story where they have something exciting and shocking happen at the same time. And I wrote this for that purpose, and then was too lazy to actually send it out. So, I'm just being honest. I wrote it with the intention of submitting it, and every time the first hurdle was buying a manila folder to put the script in, and I just couldn't do it. I don't know what it was, but I couldn't get my ass to Walmart or to Target or wherever it was to buy the damn folder and or envelope, excuse me, and actually put it in and then ship it off. I was like, I gotta go and do that, and then I'll have to buy stamps. So I ended up never doing that.
It was either laziness or it was in the cards. Let's hope it
was that last part. Not
it was destined to be part of this campaign one day.
Exactly. That's what we're gonna go with. It's not because I'm a lazy dumbass.
20,000 is a Gaunt short story, which introduces Gaunt, the Ferryman of Souls. New character within the Grave Robbers universe.
Right. So I have a couple of characters that exist within the Grave Robbers universe. The first one is Gaunt. Gaunt is he was a farmhand, and he fell in love with the rancher's daughter, and the ranch didn't like that. But the ranchers, another farmhand, also didn't like it more because he was into the daughter, and he basically frames this guy for murder, frames who becomes Gaunt, and Gaunt is killed by the he's basically killed by the rancher, and it doesn't work out for him. And Sharon, I don't know how familiar you are with the Greek, like the classical Greek stories, but he's the fairy of, he's the ferryman, so he takes all of the souls to to Hades, to the underworld, and basically Gaunt is given the choice to either go to the afterlife or stay and go and find rogue souls and bring them across the river Styx, which is located in Texas.
All right.
So yeah, that's his whole story. So it's kind of like an origins thing, but it also has, it shows who he is and what he's capable of, and stuff like that.
Cool deal. So let's check out the perks. So we've got, all right, so this is your featured tier. Is it just the book itself?
Yeah, it's just straight up the book, but you get, if you back within the next 3 days, you can get the Rotting Golem trading card, which is a character that it's going to appear in this book. You also will get the Richard trading card when we hit 5,000, and if you are an email backer, you will also get the Big Dick Murphy trading card, which is exclusive to email backers. So you could get 3 cards potentially, but if you sign up, or if you buy now and you didn't sign up, you can get 2 free cards.
The reason I'm kind of confused is usually when it comes to a featured, well, unless I'm looking at this all wrong, as I understand it, featured tier is, well, I guess it depends on how you view it, but I always look at it as being like the best bang for your buck, the best deal. Usually it's like 1 or 2 books, maybe original cover, variant cover, and maybe a print or a sticker or something like that, to give the backer like a taste of the product, right?
Right.
And it's usually not the cheapest tier, it's usually not the most expensive, but somewhere in the middle.
Well, the thing is I wanted to make this as straightforward as possible for people. The big thing is that I don't have any name recognition at all. I'm brand new. A lot of people aren't familiar with me, and even the people who signed up for the book, are still going to be people who haven't gotten to know me very well. So the biggest thing for me was I wanted somebody, to be able to look at this and go, okay, it's only $18, and be able to just click it and buy it. I didn't want people to have to scroll down. I wanted them to maybe, look at the art a little bit, maybe watch the video, and then go, okay, this is cool. It's only $18. I know that, I just don't have enough perks. Like my next perk is just 2 books at a discount. Which is good. A lot of people pick that up. That's cool.
Sure.
I'm really happy about that. Everybody who's backed that, I greatly appreciate it. The next one is like a head sketch that's not, even the book. So,
it's a head sketch only?
Yeah, but you can get the book as an add-on. Like if you wanted to buy the book or if you wanted to get the head sketch and a book, you can click head sketch, buy the head sketch, and then add the book on.
Oh, okay. All right.
And the same thing with the book as well. So if like you buy the book and you want a head sketch, but you don't want to pay, you don't want to have 2 orders, you can do the head sketch as an add-on too.
Oh, all right, good.
So
you're it sounds like you're making full use of the add-on feature in Indiegogo, which is
right.
good.
I wanted it to be really easy for people. I wanted it to be able to I wanted it to be something that people could just, pick up and go, and then get it in May, and be happy with the purchase and everything. I just, like I said, I'm brand new, so I want to get it out and get it into people's hands as easy and quick as I can. So,
welcome, Edwin Acevedo. You've already been here, haven't you? At 25,000, I'll write the 4-page origin of Gunpowder Mark.
That's a little bit of an inside joke on the watch along stream that I do with Edwin.
All right.
A few other guys. I had my name as Gunpowder Mark. I make my own bullets. Like I have a couple of guns, and I, as a cheaper way to get around buying bullets, I make my own bullets. So we were joking about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't say something about the turkey. I was talking about deep frying a turkey at one point, and he mentioned we were just joking around, and I was joking about how I was going to burn my house down or something like that. But yeah, it's just because you see that people dipping a turkey into the deep fryer and then just flame shit up. But I'll take him up on that. If he wants to write a 4-page origin story, if we hit $25,000, I'll let him write a 4-page origin story about a brand new character called Gunpowder Mark.
I want all the cards, he says.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's going to get them. I think he's got them. I think once we get them printed, once we get them shipped out, he's going to get all 3 of them. Edwin's a cool guy. He's been really cool
for sure
this whole time. He's a cool guy. He's got another book that he's a sign up going around for his book, The Ace. That's up right now. Yeah, it looks really cool.
The Ace.
Yeah, The Ace. But yeah, we've got a couple of different tiers. We've got the head sketch. There's the 5-pack. I think I called it something like the what was it? The store pack, retailer pack. Yeah, it's 5 comics for $75. The big thing is we have original art pages for sale. All the pages that are on the campaign are for sale. $200 for the original art. It's going to be 6 of them.
So are they 11 by 17?
I'd have to double check with Passion on that. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think I'd have to check. But yeah.
And then this is freaking beautiful. The Preston Burrito piece, 400.
Yeah, that is is fantastic drawing that he did for Amanda Lynn, and I've been blown away by it since he drew it, since he sent it to me. I've been blown away by it. He did a hell of a job.
So is the original piece of work, well, I presume that's also 11 by 17, right?
I'd have to ask him. I'm actually going to write these down because that might be information that people would want. So I'm going to write those down.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And so the black and white is what the lucky backer of this tier gets. The colored version is what appears in the book, right?
The colored version is going to be the back cover of the book.
Back cover, okay.
Yeah, people love this drawing. Every time that I've shown this to people, all people talk about is how badass it is, and rightfully so. Yeah, man,
it is.
It's really cool.
No doubt.
I was thinking about doing a variant cover, but I don't think that I have the volume to do a whole order for that. I just don't think that I'm gonna, have enough to be able to afford doing that. So what I just decided to do instead was to do the back cover, so that way people can still get it and they can still have that piece of art in their hand. Plus, on top of it, I have a Redbubble account where people can go and they can actually buy a poster for nothing, and they'll get it before they'll even get the books.
How big is the poster?
I'm actually going to Redbubble now so that I can look, because I think you can get it in multiple sizes. Let me just double check.
I'd probably be interested in movie poster size personally, but
That would be cool.
I know a lot of people don't collect that size and prefer the smaller ones, but I do 24 by 36 movie poster size.
You can actually get this as a sticker. You can get this as a phone case if you want. There's a framed art print that's $80. There's a canvas print that is $50, and an art print that is $20. But if you really wanted a poster, that's only $15. And the small poster is 15 by 24, and there's a medium one for 21 and a half by 3. Or 33.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's about 2 feet by 3 feet by 2 feet, and it's semi-gloss, and that is $22.
there's no large version.
For some reason, it's only giving me small and medium. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's two.
Yeah.
What is that? 3 feet by 2 feet. That's not bad. It's kind of short though. But the art print you can get, the extra large art print is 2 feet by 32, or 24 by 32 inches. Jeez.
24 by 32. That's almost movie poster size.
There is the canvas print, which is 20 by 30, which is actually pretty cool. I might actually get one of these. There's a framed one.
Basically, there are options.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. There's a whole lot of stuff if you go there and check it out. It's got tons of stuff. You can get the
Wow.
the cover to Grave Robbers as well. If you wanted to do that, you could get the cover for the book as a poster there as well. You can get that as a t-shirt. There's all kinds of stuff on there. I think there's a pillow option for one. So yeah, it's just just
So
little stuff. But
you basically uploaded your imagery and then they make it available for print on demand or something?
exactly, that's exactly what it is, and you'll get that stuff really quick. I'm getting a hoodie. I'm getting a t-shirt, like a Grave Robbers t-shirt. There's some stickers and stuff that are on there. I think the stickers are only a couple of bucks. Yeah, I'm looking at the sticker for the Grave Robbers logo with the skull, and a mat is an extra large mat, which is 11 by 11, is $14, but that's huge and that's ridiculous. Why would anyone buy that? Not to say that you shouldn't, but if you wanted to get like a laptop sticker, that's the medium, which is 4.5 by 5.5. It's only $6, and a small is 3 by 4, and that's $250. So
yeah, so that's the Preston Acevedo artwork. That's really cool. And then you got original double page art for $500. So there's only one of these as well. Is this like in the middle of the book somewhere?
That's pages 13 and 14.
Sweet. And then the last one, I always have fun looking at campaigns where the sold out tiers are still showing.
Yeah.
It shows me what I missed out on. Let's see. So you get drawn in for 100, and there were 3 of them. So you got So all 3, they're being drawn into this issue or the next issue?
They're getting drawn into this issue.
Ah, cool.
Nothing's been inked yet, so we can still go back, and we've got 3 people, 3 spots where we can fit people in, and I mean there's plenty of gore, there's plenty of blood, so you're gonna have we're gonna have 3 people that are gonna get their heads lopped off. Or some other horrific way, we'll see, but yeah, we've got plenty.
Yeah. All right. So everybody back this campaign. We're at 52% of the $5,000 fixed goal. We got, I meant to ask, 3 days left. So are you in your first 30 days of funding?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right.
Yeah. So I still have plenty of time left. There's plenty of time to back the book.
Don't forget to make sure that you have it set to extend for the next 30 days of funding.
Yeah, I've already got that set up. I just got
Good.
to
Good.
got to do it. Hit the button. So
Well, don't forget to hit the button.
yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, your campaign will end prematurely.
Yes.
You'll lose the progress you made on the funding thus far.
Right. Yeah, that would not be very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get that changed up once it's once it's 1 day left. I'll go ahead and I'll fix that.
All
But
right. Yeah.
yeah.
Don't drop the ball on that one.
Right.
Manny Nui says the sand is evil. Anakin was right to hate the sand.
Yeah. From what he messed that. Oh man, that sucks. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what I think he actually was talking about that the other day. I saw a tweet that he put out about something about that. That sucks, man. That really sucks.
Do not mess up there.
Yeah, I think he got it squared away, but yeah.
Hey, Phoenix Animation, welcome.
Hey, what's up, man?
Going. Yeah, so pretty cool looking book. Oh, Hexhound
Okay.
Fix it, thankfully.
Yeah, thank God, man. That would be that would have been terrible.
Oh yeah. By the grace of God, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you the floor, Mark. Share with the world how you can be found on social media.
Well, you can find me obviously on Twitter at Mark Makes Comics with an X instead of a CS. You can find my store on redbubble.com/people/mfcomics. You can obviously, we've been talking about it all night. You can go to Indiegogo and search Grave Robbers, Welcome to Hellhole, and you can find my book there. It's only $18. You can pick it up, and we'll have it out to you hopefully in May. That's the goal for right now, and I think you guys are going to love it. I think you guys are going to enjoy every single bloody page. It's a fantastic book full of blood, booze, and bullets, and it just doesn't get much better than that. So I hope you guys buy the book. I hope you guys enjoy it, and yeah.
Sweet. What's your Redbubble link again? Is it redbubble.com/people?
/people/MF Comics.
All right.
Yeah. That is going to be the company name is MFC.
Motherfucking comics.
It's actually Mean Face Comics.
Oh.
but I like the MFC better because it makes people think motherfucking comics. I thought that was kind of funny, so I was just gonna put MFC on it and hope people just kind of go with it.
There you go. You can find me on WyzGyz Entertainment on Facebook and YouTube. WyzGyz Twitch is on Twitch, and WyzGyz Tweets on Twitter. Mark the bell for notifications when you like, comment, and subscribe. And drop some comments below this video to let us know what you're most excited about Grave Robbers. Everybody, don't forget to back this book. We've got 3 days left in the first 30 days of funding. He's planning on going another 30 days of funding, thankfully. Just don't drop the ball now.
Exactly.
And check out this book. Thank you to everyone in chat. You guys are awesome. You rock. Thanks to everyone who watches this on replay. And thanks to our very special guest, Mark Middleton.
Well, thanks again for having me, man. I had a good time.
Oh, my pleasure. Let's close it out.
Final guest is the only person below White Holiday in the ComicsGate F.A.M.I.L.Y. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube sensation. WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.